All right, guys, really excited today. We got an awesome education for many reasons. Chelsea has worked on three, four, I'm not sure how many properties of Sharplines and does some amazing work and has done work for countless Mastermind members between Hadar's amazing 80 unit heavy lift. It was like a $2 million, $3 million project, and it is beautiful. So for members, you've seen that 80 unit heavy lift due diligence video. That was Chelsea working with Hadar. And she's going to continue. We have 300 members, and whoever's closing deals is going to continue using Chelsea on the deals. Every time Hadar closes a deal, it's automatic. If Chris needs it, it's automatic. But besides that, she's also in a few deals with me and Sharpline, which is awesome. And she has some of her own deals. She's gone through some growing pains, as we all have in multifamily and in the tough economy of 2023 multifamily recession. But we all learn, and she's in. You're in a couple kick-ass deals that Chris
Hmm.
bought later, like I think the 144, the 80 or something. They're doing really really
Yeah.
good, which is
Mhm.
actually, and your investors are very happy. But in saying that, one last thing, there's not a lot of people on today. We got a bunch of members on, but I'm doing this for the recording. We have the September event, the 25th to the 27th. We have about 90 people invited coming. We could fit another 10, 15 people. I could get to 150 if I wanted to. Last year we did 100 and that was perfect. So if anybody's interested in hearing about that free event, just message me if you're not signed up. I put the flyer up on Facebook. You could do 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. Saturday's the 9 to 5 education. It's 90-person a dinner all together at nighttime. And then Friday's an optional dinner, networking dinner, and Sunday's an optional brunch. So most of the members do 3 days. Some people are coming for one or two. All right. So in saying all this, I'm excited about this, and I can't wait for Chelsea's presentation. We're going to add it to the MIH library. So Chelsea, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Marco, for facilitating this time for us together today. And thanks everyone for being here. I'm going to dive right into it. I think I want to keep it short and sweet and get to some good Q&A at the end. So this presentation covers how my latest business venture, ROI by Supply, is being built and how it's being funded. And I'm using the same three-part framework that I've learned directly from Dr. Benjamin Hardy and his team at scaling.com, another incredible mentor of mine. You may recognize Dr. Benjamin Hardy is author of 10x is easier than 2x, Who Not How, scaling.com, and more. I really resonate with his message, and I'm going to walk you through it today. Okay, a little bit about myself, quick background. I spent 18 years in design, was born and raised in New York. Actually, funny enough, grew up about probably less than 10 minutes from Marco, and we didn't know each other for a very for, until basically maybe in the last 5 years.
That's actually pretty amazing because when I reached out to you, you were in Pleasantville and I was in Valhalla, and I played your school in baseball. So it was
Yeah, we were like, yeah,
pretty
we
cool.
literally lived super, super close. So it's funny how kind of everything comes full circle. But in any event, I spent the last 18 years in design, both high-end residential in New York City, the Hamptons, Greenwich, Connecticut, then went into commercial office space, did about 1 million square feet of office space for tech startups, Stash Invest, Cheddar, both in New York and San Francisco. And in 2019, I pivoted into multifamily, both as an investor and also into back into recreating design with ROI by Design, which is my design firm that Marco's mentioned here a couple of times. And that's really the credibility for everything I'm about to walk you through today. I'm also a proud member of MIH, of course, and the Inner Circle. And I most definitely would not be standing here without the mentors in my life. Marco, especially, has shaped how I think about growth and business and just being a father to three daughters and his passion to help specifically women. I'm just truly honored to be in his circle. And near and dear to my heart, I think when it comes down to the bottom of this, we all have a why, and it's what gets us out of the bed in the morning when things are getting tough. And things are tough. Like this is not an easy road for anybody. So it's a mission I'm passionate about, breaking the poverty cycle through education and warm meals. And these are kids from the slums in India. I've been there, as you've seen in the photo, and it's a memory that will never will never leave me. As I continue to grow my businesses, I can, further support this mission. So every great business starts with a problem that it's solving. So before I tell you about ROI by supply, let me tell you a bit about who we are, what we do, and who we do it for, and what we do different, better, or honestly, the only real option out there. This is part of the framework. Here's what makes us different. Number one, product quality, speed, and guaranteed 10% lower cost on product. It is not a slogan, it is actually a promise. And here's really why it matters. There's a couple of reasons. So first and foremost, on an average unit remodel, the trades need to leave the site 3 to 8 times. Every one of those trips is dead time. It's a delayed turn, it's NOI quietly bleeding out, and it's money that nobody notices until you add it up across a project, let alone a portfolio. And then, of course, we get into all of the inconsistencies, the fragmentations, and the delays. Um, and that's at the moment I realized after going through this as both an owner and operator myself and designing 300 plus communities with my team at ROI by Design that nobody was solving this bottleneck at the source. And that is why ROI by Supply now has come to life and exists. Okay, this credit I must give to the scaling.com framework, which is the frame, the floor, and the focus. I've learned this directly as part of Dr. Benjamin Hardy's Mastermind. And I was in a room in April at his last event with entrepreneurs ranging from $1 million in revenue to 1 billion. There was somebody there from Dubai who owns like 5 hospitals. So it just goes to show that this is not a system that applies only to my business. It applies to any business at any stage. So first and foremost, the frame is the goal, the floor is the standard, and the focus is the leverage. I'll go into it a little bit more in the next 3 slides, how each one is applied inside of our particular business model. Uh, so setting an unreasonable target. This is what we call, in some cases, the big, hairy, audacious goal, the BHAG. And it's a bit counterintuitive because aiming for 10x is actually simpler than aiming for 2x. 2x growth is a lot of what you're already doing year over year, and you're growing slowly and incrementally and grinding. A 2x goal for ROI by supply would be going directly to a small owner or operator, and again, growing incrementally. 10x cannot be reached that way. It forces a different plan entirely. That's why 20 million by year 3 wasn't built from a forecast. It was set first as the target, and everything else was built backwards from it, thinking of our ideal customer in mind. Another thing I want to mention is that this business is built to be sold. I've owned a couple of businesses before, and with and I didn't apply this strategy, and those were really the mistakes that I made. I didn't work from the end goal backwards. Um, so this starts with raising your baseline. Your floor, what we call the floor, becomes your standards and your non-negotiables. The baseline you refuse to go below, no matter the pressure to cut corners or to move faster. This is where you eliminate anything that dilutes your focus, your philosophy. In our case, it's a standardized kit with fixed materials, audited factories only, full ownership of the supply chain, and capital deployment against confirmed demand. In the scaling.com framework, they put it, your floor becomes your culture. I've applied this not only to professionally, but to my personal life, and it sets the standards for who you let into your organization and into your relationships. And unfortunately, not all people that you start with or maybe who you're going to end up with. In this case, this is a new business, so I can curate all of the people accordingly. But in an existing firm, if somebody doesn't meet your floor or goes up against it, it might be questionable whether or not they're really a good fit for your organization and your vision. Uh, so we go into the highest leverage path. This goes back to the 2x versus the 10x. So the math is simple. The end goal is fewer, larger accounts that get us to 20 million faster than chasing a lot of small ones ever would. So in the past, I may have gone to, you know, friends, family, a handful of clients and grown, I mean, maybe very incrementally, 100 kits a year, 300, 600, 1,000. That is not the goal here. The goal is 10x, and we use time as a tool. When you set time, and not 10 years out, but 3 years out, it forces you to think very differently about how you're going to get there. And for us, it's not a cold outreach into a market we don't understand. Like I mentioned before, we've redesigned 300 plus communities of all asset sizes, ranging from 2 million to 60 plus million new developments. So it's a renovation strategy that we stand behind. And fortunately, because of my relationships through MIH, my own personal investments, and ROI by design, we're already doing business with GCs and property managers. They're warm relationships. It's not a cold start. As you all here know, people want to believe first and foremost in you before the business. So they must know, like, and trust. And I've found that to be true in everything that I've done. But regardless, our end goal is very clear. We are working towards national accounts like a Greystar, RPM, Asset Living, owner operators with 5,000 plus unit portfolios. That's where the leverage is, and that's where we're headed. It's not where we're starting. We've got a couple steps to get there first, but that is the end goal. I love this one. I know a lot of people in the Mastermind MIH have read Who Not How. It's one of those books that I think just changes your life and how you do business. And it certainly has for me as I've built my organizations. So the idea of Who Not How is about how, it's not how do I do the work myself, it's who already does it best. And let me be upfront about the budget reality. Most elite talent at this level, when I'm hiring A plus players or you're going to look for your next person, they're going to be, for me, 350,000 or more full time. And that is simply out of reach for an early startup company. And I'm not going to pretend otherwise. So here's how we actually solve for that. There's three tactics, not a bigger checkbook. We're talking fractional players with a path to full time and equity. You get creative. And that is truly the name of the game. Okay, I'm going to walk you through this team person by person. And for each one, I wanted you to notice the engagement type because that's actually the point here. So I'm the founder, of course. Michaela is my co-founder and creative director who came from ROI by Design. She's also an equity partner. Greg Gooding runs operations for us on a 1099 retainer. He ran supply chain at NTN Driveshaft, managing 900 million or so in platform launches with 100% on-time delivery. And he also worked in government defense. So this is not his first time at the rodeo, needless to say. Robert Piet is our fractional CFO part-time. He was the CFO at Cali Bamboo Floors. And a really also interesting story about how I met Robert. I went to a scaling event, a Dr. Benjamin Hardy event here in Park City, where I live, back in April. And anytime I go to any event, I set an intention, whether that's I want to make, X amount of meaningful connections. I want to contribute this. I always go set something because usually when you put it out into the universe and you embody it, it comes back. And I went to that event and this business at this point has just been a grand idea of mine. And I sat next to a gentleman who said, "Hey, I know this man, Robert. You should reach out to him." He showed me his LinkedIn profile. And I was like, wow, he was the CFO of Skull Candy, Black Diamond, Pro Bar. I was like, yeah, if he's willing to make time to meet with me, I'd love to meet him. And he would, long story short, I got on the call really just to ask him questions and try to understand maybe who are good partners for like trade and tax, and being that he's also here in Utah. And he said, well, I'm actually retiring next week. I'd love to come on and consult for you part-time as your fractional CFO. My specialty and what I really enjoy the most is building out 13-week cash modeling and 3-year P&Ls. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was totally blown away. So this just goes back to the power of your network and getting in the rooms with the right people and setting intentions. Um, and that even predated the company. And one other notable advisor is Joe Descordas. Joe built a very similar model with his business partner, who's a developer in Texas, and he is not only a strategic advisor, he has incredible contacts. He knows the ins and outs of purchasing materials, distributing. We're working with his manufacturer, so there's no rewriting the playbook here. We're just doing it a bit differently. And ultimately, he'll be a key person in getting us in with Greystar and so forth. So the you're only as good as your team, and through this network at MIH and through every mastermind I've been in and every business opportunity, it always goes back to the people on your team. And I'd rather have one A+ player and pay them everything I can instead of having 10 B+ players. It's just what you can, the results of what one person can do can and really change the trajectory of your business. Um, so getting into, a little bit more into the nitty-gritty, most of you here are real estate owner operators and or investors. And what's kind of been fun for me about this part of launching a new business has been actually the fundraising component, because it's not really at all relatable to what I've done in the past. So it's been really cool and interesting, and I've grown a lot learning this. So first and foremost, I'm looking for advice, not money. I find that that is the most valuable thing. So I'm not looking to walk away with a check. It's at this stage, feedback and alignment. And if that's all that happens in this room, I'll consider it a win. So there's four ways in, and I mean it when I say it, that you can pick one or none. I'm not steering anyone towards anything here. It's just where you think I can provide the most value back for you. So the pain points. What are your bottlenecks in renovating and sourcing? That's literally what we're solving for and why we've built this business. I happily would take an introduction. If you know a GC, property manager, or an owner operator that could help, one warm name goes a long way. And three, try a pilot kit. You can run the proven or your next renovation and see the floor for yourself. And we're in the midst of rolling out our test pilot kits, which is super exciting. And then option four, which I'll get into a little bit more, is the safe seed investment as well as a working line of capital. So I don't know if anybody, safe was a new word for me. This is not something I had known before. It stands for Simple Agreement for Future Equity. So it's not a loan and it's not equity in the company today. It is a promise when a future triggering event happens. For us, that's converting from an LLC to a C Corp. This converts into actual equity at a discount to whatever that round is priced at. It's the standard instrument early stage company use before there's a formal price round. And just a quick note on why we're structured as an LLC today, not a C Corp already. As an LLC, we get passed through taxation, no corporate level tax, income flows straight through us as an owner, and it's simpler and cheaper to run at this stage. But this safe is built to convert once we move to a Delaware C Corp, and the timing really matters here. A C Corp is a structure that institutional investors expect. It lets us issue clean equity and set up an option pool for the team, and there's a real upside on the table too. So a qualified small business stock, which is a QSBS, can let early holders avoid federal capital gain taxes on a meaningful chunk of their gain if they hold it long enough. And with the C Corp, it's either 4 or 5 years. So the move to C Corp isn't just a paperwork, it's to unlock really advantages for everyone at the table, including the people investing today. Now let me just walk you through the terms a bit. This round is a capped at $1 million with a minimum check size of 100,000. The structure is that it converts, as mentioned, to equity upon C Corp conversion, which will take place within the next year and at a discount. So typically a 20 or 30% discount. So you go in with equity discounted. Now is the basis. This is the safe is priced against our 3 year, which is 20 million in revenue, 2.45 million in EBITDA. Not where we are today, it's where the frame says we're going. That's the same 20 million number I put on the table a few slides back. This is the underwriting logic tying directly back to that. And here's the part I know that owner operators in the room want to hear. If you invest here, you're not just getting equity upside, you'll also get preferred pricing on product as a customer. So that's two ways to win from one investment. You benefit as an investor and you benefit every time you buy. And this, of course, has been strategically planned in that way. And then going into a working capital line. Of course, we're all used to our common bank line of credit. And this is a bit different from a safe. So let me contrast them directly. The safe is equity. You're betting on where the company goes. This is not that. A working line of capital is asset backed. So that's product backed, short duration, private lending. This is an addition to our bank relationship. It's not a replacement for banking. It's a separate private lending opportunity for people who want a different kind of exposure to this business. So you're not necessarily betting on growth, you're funding something that is already real. And here's how. This only works when you're deploying against an already confirmed purchase order, not a forecast, not a pipeline. So let's say we have a client that is remodeling a 300 unit community. They're going to be buying 250 kits. We're going to go to the manufacturers. We have terms with them. We're going to place POs, and it's going to be money that's backed by those POs. So it's an actual order that's in hand. The title on that inventory passes to the lender, which would be the private investor, the bank, once it hits our 3PL warehouse. So there's a real asset behind every dollar out the door, and you get rapid principal plus interest as we invoice and collect from the client. So a completely different structures. Two numbers people always ask about, and I'll say them now, are the terms are 90 to 120 days with a 12% simple interest. So that's the term and the return in full. So again, the safe is a bet on the company. This funding is funding a transaction that's already happening. Okay, this is the payoff slide. So let me slow down and let these numbers breathe. When I mentioned working backwards from the 20 million goal, and by the way, there's an entire matrix of how these numbers are procured as similarly to when we're underwriting our multifamily assets. So from left to right, we start with year one, 3,500 kits, units, 4.5 million in revenue. Year two, we ramp up to 6,750-ish units, 10.45 million. And year three, roughly 12,500 kits, 20 million. So that's the curve. You can see it accelerating. It's just not adding up. And the metric here again goes back to the EBITDA. When you are going to sell to private equity or any investor at that matter, the EBITDA is the margin that they work off of. It's not just a projection, it's an expression of the frame that this whole deck is around. And it matters the most, and not just being a healthy number, there's a range between 12, 13, 14% EBITDA that you need to be in. I say need. It's ultimately how your business gets valued. And that also depends on the industry, the story behind the growth, the systems you have in place. Companies sell anywhere from 2 to 5 to 10x EBITDA. So if we have let's just say our EBITDA is 2.4 million or 2.5 million and they're going to 10x it, then it's 25 million, right? That's the valuation of the company and thus your equity. So this, as I've mentioned again, is entirely built towards that outcome. One thing I do want to mention, in case anyone asks, the signature tier here, figures are placeholders. Right now, we've only put in calculations for our proven package, which is C class, B class remodeling, A class materials, new development, of course, slightly upgraded finishes and fixtures. And two ways that we're delivering kits. One is an in-stock kit program, and another is a curated program. If you have a development project or a project you're working on and you want to change the materials specifically for your project, that's very much doable. We have the relationships with the manufacturers, and we have the products already lined up but for the case's simplicity, this is where we are. So we have not factored even in any really of the what we're calling the signature package, which would be the more procured A-class new development. All right, let me bring this back to where I started, the frame, the floor, the focus. We framed an unreasonable goal. That's 20 million by year three, and then we built backwards from it. We raised the floor, so no substitutions, audited factories only, full ownership of the supply chain, and capital that only moves against confirmed demand. And we focused fewer larger accounts, warm relationships, speed and cost and availability over everything else. So that is the business. My contact information is here, of course, on the screen. Feel free to take a photo, reach out to me via phone, email, whatever works for you. I'm always happy to chat, whether it's about, starting a new business, growing a business, investment opportunities, anything real estate related, design. I truly am an open book, and I find that just being genuine and authentic in myself is always is the way to go. And I am grateful to be here and have had this opportunity. So I'll stop there and open up for any questions.
Thank you, Chelsea. I'm just waiting. Let me look at the chat. People can, and if you don't have questions, I know a lot of people don't like to ask questions, and even when I do presentations, you can reach out to Chelsea and network with her and ask questions on the side. So, um,
I just wanted to share. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for sharing. It was such a inspiring and mind blowing. Like when we connected yesterday and today, listening your presentation, because everything is possible, right? Like if you put the right team together, if you have the right network of people, everything is possible. And I think you're providing so much value with this new venture to multifamily owners and GCs. Yeah, wishing you amazing success, and thank you for sharing all the principles of 10x. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for um, sharing your story with me as well. I think we're all here to ultimately learn from one another and grow. And yeah, it just comes back to you're as good as the people or as great as the people you surround yourself with, and who are you getting in the rooms with, and who are you partnering with. So I've had partnerships that were not great, and you learn from those and you move on, and you just continue to grow and get better. And the one thing I'll say from all of my business ventures that has been a stepping stone to the next, the the better the team becomes, the better, the business becomes. And that's just, I mean, simply a fact. So yeah, I'm excited about where we're headed and getting to serve the multifamily industry and ultimately save people time, money, headaches, get units filled, offer a better product, and be able to do it, directly from manufacturer without the big box markups. And I know there's a huge demand for it, so we're excited to kick off. And if anybody wants to learn more, I'd be happy to chat.
so Tatiana, we were talking about you earlier. Chelsea, she's in the inner circle now with Christina, Lauren, Melanie, and Debbie. They have five women in their inner circle, and in a year or two, you're going to be in there. Once you graduate from MIH, maybe not the first year, maybe second year. There's no rush. It's happens organically. But one thing I was mentioning was Chelsea does once in a while does a good event. Where do you do it in Utah, Chelsea, or all over?
Yeah, I haven't done an event in a while in Park City, but yeah, I've been bringing together women.
Hmm.
All of my investors are who are invested with me and into Sharpline MIH deals are women. I'm obviously very passionate about educating women. And I just started that by doing a local meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the future, maybe in 6 months or whenever she does the next one, obviously she's going to reach out to you. If you can make the time, because you're a go-getter. I know you met me in South Carolina. You got to go out there. She's got some amazing women around her.
Hmm.
I got on the deal she's in with me. There was I can't remember the lady's name off the hand because I'm bad with names, but she's from New York. She's a
Hmm.
very high powered woman. We had like the best call. We just met and like we it was such an energetic call, and I'm like, listen, when I'm in New York, we're definitely having dinner, and she was really great, and she's in a good deal with us. So yeah, it's just about you become who you surround yourself with. It's
Hmm.
simple as that.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
I just want to comment, Chelsea, I don't know if you're aware, actually, we were on a call some years ago in 2018. And I just want to say that I don't really have a question, but I just want to comment that the transformation from the person I spoke to in August of 2018 and today is just astounding. So kudos to you. And
Wow.
I think it's nice that we ended up in the same MIH mastermind years later.
Yeah, I know it's because I don't know that we spoke face to face. I think we
No, it
spoke
was a
over
call. I was
a
actually
call.
driving
So,
to
so when I
Buffalo, which
saw
is why I
your
remember
name,
it.
yeah, I was like, how do I know this woman? I kept
Mhm.
saying. So I'm so
Yeah.
glad to be reconnected. And I know it feels like a lifetime ago, right? That was eight years ago. Yeah.
Y- when I'm gonna put up some of the work she did for Sharpline, and even for Hadar, I'll put on the chat. You know how I do lessons of the day.
Yep.
It's some great stuff. The properties look beautiful, so it's really. I remember when Chelsea was. Whenever I talk to you guys to join MIH, it's not just about closing multifamily. People think like before they join MIH, it's just it's multifamily driven, but we
Mhm.
are 365 Health. We are. It's like everything about your life. And when I talk to her, like because I don't want people to join and not get value. And I told Chelsea, I saw her thing, I saw her business, and I'm like, Chris is gonna use you. So, and then when she joined, I said, I want you to at least pick up at least 10 members deals. Like our members are closing great deals, and they're great people. And then I just did introductions, how I do your group texts, like Tatiana and Chelsea. And I introduced Chelsea to probably 20, 30 of the 40 best in MIH. A year or two later, she called me up. I'm like, how you doing? And she goes, I've done a bunch of deals, even Hadar's deal. So
Mhm.
that was I always have a vision for somebody when they join, and that was one of my visions for her. And then on top of it, she's in like two or three deals with me.
Yeah,
So
and I love it. Marco will
yeah,
call me out of the blue and be like, "You got to be doing this on your marketing or this or that." I'm like, "Okay,
it's
let me
it's
look
it's
into that."
it's when my second coffee hits and I'm out in my walk and I have
Yeah,
way too much energy.
yeah,
I'll call Chelsea up and be like, you have a minute, which turns into like 45 minutes,
yeah, yeah.
but
Which always takes a long time. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that in all sense of a go-giver, that is you,
yeah,
Marco, and we've all grown because of that. So thank you. And
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
just it's awesome to be in the room. I look forward to seeing everybody at the event. I'll be there Friday evening for the dinner and the first part of Saturday. So um, let's definitely connect in person, give each other a hug, and yeah.
Yeah, and keep growing the family because we all can
Mm,
make money. I'm gonna end this with gratitude.
mhm,
We all can make money. And Tatiana just met me when she came to South Carolina. She met Rob though, but I love people and it's memories and relationships
mhm,
because getting a job and we're born in the U.S. This is the best country to make money and to grow and to invest and to do everything. So money's not the and people think we join these groups in the beginning. Oh, I want to grow. I want to 10x my. But then they join. They're like, oh my God, MIH is really a family
mhm,
and the relationships we're going to make money along the way, we're going to grow, but the relationships trump it. And Hendra was saying it, he's like, the event is not an event, it's a family reunion. It's
mhm,
like it's between the people there are in the group mostly 5 years, so
mhm,
it's and there's going to be a lot of opportunities, RVs, flips,
mhm.
everything. And then it's very exciting. And Chelsea, I'm glad you're able to fit it in because she had an obligation, so she wasn't able to come. And I got her to. She was able to come Friday night and stay part of Saturday morning, which is excellent.
Yeah, no, thank you
All
all.
right, guys. I am happy to add this to the MIH library. I will have a recording out to the whole group by like 6 o'clock tonight or something like that when I get it done, and to you, Chelsea, also. And have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Take care.